In this video, we're going to go over how to set up a domain controller on a Windows 2022 server. So the first thing that we're going to do is go into System Security. We're just going to go ahead and click Allow Remote Access, and then go over to Computer Name, Change, and then we're going to change this to Test DC 22, so that we know that it is a test domain controller and it is on Windows Server 22. So after we do that, we're going to have to reboot the virtual machine. So we're going to go ahead and reboot this, and as soon as this is done, I will be back. Alright, now we're back, and as you can tell, the host name is testdc22. So we'll close out of that, and the first thing that you need to understand when you're going to do anything on Windows Server is that this is the server manager. This is how you add any features and roles, and that's how you create the domain controller. So first thing we're going to do is click on Manage, Add Roles and Features. And then here it just tells you about the wizard, what it does, and how you can use it. We're going to hit Next. The domain controller is going to be a role-based feature, so we'll hit Next again. This is the correct IP address as well as the name, so we'll hit Next again. Now, in order to do the domain controller, we're going to need to choose the Active Directory domain services. And this will install the packages. It will effectively turn this machine into a domain controller that we can connect other clients to through the use of the DNS by using it. Use this IP address as our DNS server, and that's how we connect our client to the Active Directory database, and it can get us updates that way. So we'll go ahead and add features, and at that point you don't have to do anything else. We'll hit Next. Oh, that looks good. We'll hit Next. We'll hit Next. And then we'll just hit Install. Now this is going to take some time. As soon as this is done though, there's one last step that we do have to follow in order to get this to properly work. So once this is done, we'll come back and take a look at that step. Alright, it's successfully installed. So what we're going to do is click right here to promote this server to a domain controller. So this allows us to create our domain. So if we already had an existing domain, we could add this, but we don't have a forest or anything at this time. So we're going to want to click Add a New Forest, and we're going to call this limitspass dot. Let's go with local. And I actually do have a domain controller set, so what we'll do is we'll just throw in dev in front of this, and that will allow us to create this forest without having any conflict with my other forests. So now we'll hit Next. So the functional level is set to 2016. The functional level has not changed since 2016. So although we're up to, I think that there's actually 2025 at this point, the functional level has not changed. So effectively the same operating system, just with extra added features. But as far as there's no major differences since 2016. So we'll go ahead and create a directory services restore mode password. And what this here says read-only domain controller. So if we were adding this to another domain controller, we could create this as a read-only domain controller, and we could have it set up somewhere in the world, and it could act as a domain controller. People could get their settings from it, but it could not change anything in the Active Directory database. So anything in Active Directory, read-only cannot change it. It can only read it. And this here, this is fine. We just don't have anything set up yet. That's why it's saying that. And the NetBIOS name is just the, so if you were going to log into this machine, you could use, instead of using the entire dev.limitspass.com, you could use dev slash and then your username, and that would allow it to work. So for this, we're going to go with LPD, so for LimitsPass LimitsPass Development. So now we'll hit Next. And these here, is this where you're keeping all of the core files of the domain controller? Generally, you would not want to put these on your C drive. You would want to put them somewhere secured where they're gonna, where they're not gonna possibly be lost. They could be lost if we put it this way. You can put it on like a share drive or somewhere secured that you know it would be safe. But for this, we're gonna go with just the basic default folder hierarchy, and then that's it. So you could actually click on this. You could view the script of how this is happening. So what that would do is that would allow you to see how this works in PowerShell. If you're wanting to understand how to set this up on server core, you could do this, grab this script, and you could go over to server core. You could use that to set this up as a server core domain controller. So we'll hit next, and then once this is complete, we'll have to reboot, and we're good to go. So we'll give this a few moments, and we'll be back in a second. Alright, so we're back and all the checks have passed. You will get some issues here because there's no DNS server created at this time, and so that's perfectly fine. It will work as needed. So we'll hit install. This is going to take some time. Once this is done, we'll be back to test it out and make sure everything's working. And we're back. So the domain controller has been set up correctly. As you can see, now we have ADDS, so this is Active Directory Domain Services. So if we open up Active Directory, users and computers, you can see our folder hierarchy, which later on we'll go farther into this, talk more about what Active Directory is, how this works, and how you can make it work for you, and how to understand how it works for organizations. This is a very powerful tool to manage your entire infrastructures. And that's going to be it for this video. It was a little bit longer than the other videos, but Active Directory, setting up does take time, and it's a very in-depth system that we'll uncover together and learn as we go. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.